Welcome back to the Maelstrom, ladies and gentlemen. We have another Warhammer 40k battle report for you today. We're doing 2,000 points, and we are going to be playing straight out of the rulebook, Eternal War, No Mercy. A fitting mission for the two armies. We're going to be doing Black Templar versus Khorne Demons. The Black Templar got to decide deployment. We're doing Hammer and Anvil with the Black Templar over here in the Prometheum field, and the Demons coming down on them out of the rest of the fortifications over here. So no objectives to show. It is going to be straight killing, which fits both of these armies just fine. We will be back with the armies.
Alright, so we've got the Black Templar set up in a battalion detachment. The first HQ in the Warlord is a captain. His Warlord trait's Rights of War, and he will be carrying the Teeth of Terra. My second HQ is an Emperor's Champion, the old standby. For the troop slots, I have 2 squads of 9 Crusaders. Those squads have 2 power swords and a melta-gun. Then I have a squad of 10 Crusaders with a multi-melta, a melta-gun, and a power sword. I have 3 Rhinos lined out to transport those squads. Then for my elites, I have a squad of 3 Aggressors with Flamestorm gauntlets. For my fast attacks, I have a squad of 3 Inceptors with assault bolters and a 10-man assault marine squad with 3 plasma pistols and a combat shield. Then for my heavies, I have a trio of Vindicators, and rounding out the list in the last transport slot, I have a repulsor with a plethora of weapons to list out.
Alright, so that is the Black Templar contribution. We will be back with the waves of Khorne Demons that will be fighting them. Next up, we have the Khorne Demons. They are organized into a battalion and a spearhead. Leading the battalion, we have a Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. He is our warlord. He is going to have Armor of Scorn for his relic and Oblivious to Pain as his warlord trait. He is joined by Herald on a Blood Crusher in the HQ slot, who will be running around with 5 Blood Crushers who have Icon and an Instrument. In the troop slot, we have 3 squads of 10 Bloodletters. They also have instruments. The icons are just for show for right now, but they do have instruments. And then in the fast attack slot, we have 1 squad of 7 Fleshhounds and 2 squads of 6 Fleshhounds. Then moving over to the spearhead. Well, before we go to that, we do have 1 more heavy support. We have 1 Soul Grinder in the battalion. Then in the spearhead, we have a 2nd Soul Grinder. And we also have a Blood Throne as the HQ and 2 Skull Cannons. So you have seen the armies and you have seen the table. We will be back as we get stuck into the Maelstrom. Alright, armies are deployed. The Black Templars were down a couple of deployments faster, so we're going to walk down them first.
So we set our armored spearhead up on our far left, followed up with the Rhinos and the Repulsor on our right. We are deep striking the Inceptors and the Assault Marines. Pretty standard. Not a whole lot going on there.
Alright. The Demons are going to be tearing through the warp with the Bloodthirster and all 3 squads of Bloodletters. We set up a Soul Grinder and a Skull Cannon on each flank. We have the bulk of our Hunting Hounds here in the center, with the Blood Throne backing them up, and the Crushers on this flank along with their Herald. Alright, so Black Templar finished first, so they get +1 to their roll. They have a 3. See if the Demons can beat that. Need a 4. 6 will do it. Demons are going to take the first turn. We will be back once Khorne has made their initial advance. Khorne Demons, turn 1. We will not have an assault phase, obviously, because of the distances. The Hounds went ahead and advanced. We rolled 6s for the 2 squads on this end, 3 for the other squad, so they are pretty well advanced into the table. Over here, the Crushers and the Bloodmaster also advanced. Crushers didn't roll so well to advance, but the Bloodmaster did, so they all hung pretty tight there against the Hounds. Soul Grinders advanced on both flanks, and the Skull Cannon sat still while the Blood Throne brought up the rear here. We then fired all of the guns down on the Rhino here in the center, and were able to do it 7 points, but were not able to kill it off. 5-Ups got pretty hot there at the end. He was able to keep that Rhino in the fight. So 3 wounds remaining there. That was the only damage we did, so it is going into the Black Templars, and then we will be back. Black Templar, turn 1.
The Vindicators
sucked.
Well, you know, that's not entirely fair. The Vindicators did their job. I think between the 3 Vindicators we got like 12 or 14 wounds onto the dogs, and we killed 2 dogs.
Yep, the 5-up invols rolling like a boss as usual.
The Crusaders out of the crippled rhino went ahead and got out. Wasn't exactly our initial plan, but we didn't lose the rhino, so at least we have the squad at full strength. And they did, after shooting and knocking a 3rd dog down out of the middle squad, we went ahead and rolled it, make a charge into the squad on the flank. So we are in combat with them. The rhinos pushed over to support the captain. The repulsor peeled back off of the flank. The repulsor came up like a boss. He crippled a squad and left 1 survivor with 1 wound, pretty much by himself. I am in love with that tank. That is probably my favorite unit in my whole Space Marine Codex right now. The rest of our shooting, pinging with a couple of Stormbolters here and there. I think we wounded a dog or 2. Not a whole lot going on, but we are in combat, and we'll see how that comes out.
Yep, we'll be back once combat rolls to an end. Alright, assault phase is rolling to an end.
Things are still not going the way we wanted to. The Crusaders managed a whopping 6 wounds total. They managed 6 wounds total, and then the dogs came up huge again. Man, I don't know. The 5-ups are on board today. They downed 1 dog, and then I lost 3 Crusaders to the return fire.
4 out of 6 invul saves. I am not allowed to play demons anymore. We got 3 Marines, so the Marines will need a morale, right? Because if they rolled a 6, they'd lose, what, 1 guy? Alright, so let's see what they got. Good to go with a, where am I at? 1. And then my hound here will have to roll a 1 or a 2 to stick around. 3 won't do it. He's had enough. So it will be first blood to the Black Templar. Turn wasn't a total loss. We will be back with the Khorne Demons, turn 2. Khorne Demons have finished their turn up to the assault phase. We went ahead and moved assaulters because shooting for Khorne Demons is never going to do a whole lot. The first skull cannon, we thought we were going to get some damage done. We did 6 points to the Emperor's Champion Rhino, and then we failed to even make him make an armor save for the rest of the turn. So nothing really happened for shooting. That's a lie. We did do 2 points here with the Harvester Cannon. I forgot about that. But other than that, no other damage done. In the assault phase, we brought the Bloodthirster and 2 squads of Bloodletters in back here. The Bloodletters made it into the Vindicators to either side, but the Bloodthirster fell flat and was unable to make it. We put the 4-man squad of hounds into here. The captain did heroically intervene to fight that. 3rd squad of Bloodletters tried to charge but was unable to here. Blood Crushers charged the Repulsor, lost 1 of their number in the process, but did make their charge. And the Herald charged the empty Rhino. The Soul Grinder also went in over here to help out his Fleshhound buddies. And the Herald tried to make it but was unable to make his charge. So we will be back once this slew of combats has been rolled out. Alright, Khorne Demons have finished their turn up. Got in all of our charges here. We were able to bring the Repulsor down to 8 points, so did pretty decent there. It managed to wound 1 of the Blood Crushers. The Herald was able to crush the Rhino up front and consolidate back to the Black Templar Rhino here to lock it up. We were unable to get within 1 inch of this one. Couldn't hardly get there. Brought this Vindicator down to 7 points and surrounded it so it couldn't fall back. Charged the hounds in here and knocked it down to 8. But the heroic intervention killed all 4 hounds from the Teeth of Terra. The Vindicator down here went to 8 points, but he is still surrounded by Bloodletters there. And over here, between the Grinder and the dogs, we were able to kill all but the Sergeant. But 2 of the hounds went down because he did play a counterattack stratagem there. So Black Templars are showing some teeth back in close combat. We do each have a morale check. Josh, you taking a morale there, or are you just going to pay points for that guy?
I'm going to take it.
All right. That's definitely an they shall know no fear. 4, and he lost 5, right? So that'll get him. He fell back. And I lost 2 hounds there, so let me grab a die here. If I roll a 6, I'll lose another one. 5, whew, they thought about it, but they're going to hang out. All right, so that is it. We each picked up a point. I destroyed a Rhino. He destroyed a squad of hounds. We will be back after Black Templars start turn 2. Black Templar, turn 2.
Okay, so we deep struck in the assault squad back here in the backfield, and then in the shooting phase we overcharged their plasma pistols and shot with their bolt pistols and knocked the skull cannon down to 2 wounds. We've already rolled out our charges so that they would be recorded. The first charge didn't make it, but they rolled an 11 on their reroll for their Black Templar chapter tactics, so they did make combat with the skull cannon down there. Down here we brought in the Inceptors, and they single-handedly wiped out the Bloodletters. Just friggin' insane rolls on their part. Yeah. They wounded them as many times as they should have hit them, and then he failed all of his invulnerable saves. The Repulsor and the Aggressors combined fire to leave the Blood Crushers with 1 guy at 1 wound and 1 guy unwounded. The rest of the squad's been killed. Down here, the Tactical Squad, or the Crusade Squad here with the Bolters, knocked down 1 dog with their Bolters and knocked 5 wounds out of the Soul Grinder, and then the Captain hit and wounded with the Mastercrafted Bolter, and he failed his saves there too.
And lost 4 points to a bolt gun. Oh, it was just one of those turns. My Khorne Demons need to go back in the box.
Just bad news bears. I mean, the dice were insane this turn. As far as charges go, that Crusader squad made a charge all the way down here on these guys. The Captain and the Crusade squad here made a charge on these Bloodletters. The Emperor's Champion made his charge into the Herald. The Aggressors made their charge into the Blood Crushers. I mean, we got everything and more that we could have possibly needed to make this turn as bloody as possible.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. There ain't going to be very many demons left after this turn. We will be back after the assault phase. Black Templar assault phase is wrapped up.
So the Assault Marines didn't get any damage through in combat, but they did manage to survive the incoming. What little there was, they did lose an Assault Marine there, but that thing being locked up helps, means it's not stuff coming down on the baseline. The Aggressors only dealt 1 wound in close combat, but were only dealt 1 wound in return due to some horrible dice rolls. The Emperor's Champion cut down the Herald that he was locked with. The Crusaders that charged down here cut down 6 Bloodletters. The Captain didn't get a chance to swing because it took him out of his 3 inches and he didn't have a distance to move back into combat. The squad down here killed 4, and then the Vindicator killed 1, and the Bloodletters killed 4 in return.
Alright, so we got several morale checks. So we got a couple for the Marines, right? Or I think these guys are immune because of your Captain, right?
Yes.
And those guys will need a morale, I believe. Alright. So I got a kicker. We got a 6, that's a reroll for sure. 4, 8, they're good to go. I think that's the only one you got, right? Mm-hmm. So I lost 5 from the squad down there, right? Mm-hmm. Alright, so for the squad down there against the Vindicator, 6, 7, good to go. Squad down here, they lost 6, so we need a 1. Hey, look at that, 1, they're good to go. And this guy needs a 3 or less, because he lost 3, or 4 or less, because he lost 3 of his buddies. 2. Khorne Demons can be accused of a lot of things, but apparently running's not one of them. Alright, so that is the end of a brutal turn. Let's see if we can stoke some rage for Khorne here and claim some more skulls before we get clobbered. We will be back after Khorne Demons. Demons are ready for the assault phase. It is not proving to be Khorne's night, unfortunately. We fired the unengaged skull cannon and both soul grinders at the aggressors and did 1 wound with all of their shooting. So not very impressed with the Khorne contribution from shooting. To make matters worse, we then went into the assault phase. The soul grinder tried to charge the Vindicator, which hit him twice, wounded him twice. I failed both invuls and the soul grinder blew up. Pretty sad little result there. We were able to get the Herald of Khorne in against the Rhino. He's going to consolidate around and lock the Vindicator up anyway, but big blow there. Soul Grinders are so many points to do so little. We did get the 2 dogs in over here. They're going to lock up the Vindicator and the Marines to try to keep them held up. And we got the Bloodthirster in back here to try to save some Bloodletters and keep this Vindicator locked up in combat. And then we also charged the Repulsor with this Soul Grinder, lost 2 wounds on the way in on Overwatch. So that is it for Demons up to the assault phase. We will be back once they have finished up their attacks. Demons assault phase rolls to an end with kind of mixed results. Some of the combats went okay, some of them went kind of pooey. Down here we traded another wound off the Skull Cannon for 2 more Assault Marines. Down here the Soul Grinder took 2 wounds on Overwatch, made it into close combat and did 1 wound. My Soul Grinders are not feeling it at all. 1 hit, 1 wound, and rolled a 1 for the damage, so nothing happened there really. Over here, the Bloodthirster was able to go in and kill the entire Marine squad before they could swing. Bloodletters did nothing. Over here, we did nothing. This guy was able to bring the Rhino down to 1 wound. So that was about it. Unfortunately, not a super impressive turn for Khorne once again. But we'll see what happens going into Black Templars. Turn 3. Black Templars are ready for the assault phase.
In the shooting, the aggressors and the inceptors did a significant number of wounds to the Soul Grinder. Yeah.
The aggressors wounded me 6 times with 12 flamethrower shots, and I failed 4 of my 6 3+ saves. Oh, I'm ready to go home.
Then the repulsor turned all of its guns down on the last Blood Crusher and killed him.
To no surprise.
The rest of the army either didn't have shots because it fell back from combat, or didn't do anything with its pistols in close combat.
You did, I think, get 1 bloodletter right.
Oh, that's
down
right.
here.
1 bolt pistol did claim a bloodletter down here. The Emperor's Champion made his charge distance on the Blood Throne. The Captain is also charging in there. The Inceptors took the Overwatch fire off of the Soul Grinder and lost 1 of their number in that shooting.
So he can hit, ladies and gentlemen. There is ammunition in there.
He just doesn't want to, apparently. And then the aggressors, once the Overwatch had been absorbed, locked him in combat.
Alright, we will be back after the butt kicking is doled out. Black Templar assault phase rolls to an end.
The aggressors and the inceptors down there, I think knocked him down to like 3 wounds remaining. And then he rolled a 1 to wound on his 1 attack because for some reason in their low bracket they get D3 attacks instead of, whatever. Moving on. The demons managed to crush the White Vindicator. The Emperor's Champion killed the Blood Throne. So we run into this really weird thing where the Emperor's Champion is probably one of the weirdest characters in the entire game here. His points cost is roughly equivalent to a Rhino, and somehow, in the way that they had written in a plethora of special rules, this guy's got like 7 special rules. He will clear a character 99.9% of the time, regardless of what its toughness was, what its wounds are. I mean, he just, and it's gone.
Yeah, that strength 7's rough. It's hard to get around that.
Down here, we managed to kill another couple of Bloodletters, and the Bloodletters killed a couple of Marines. Down there, the Blood Throne killed another Marine to no loss. The Marines just can't get that last wound out of him.
Yep, they eased him down to nothing like it was nothing, but now they're having trouble with that last wound. Alright, well, we got a few pockets of demons. We're going to try to make these silly mortals bleed a little bit more for this crazy shenanigans we have endured. We will be back after Khorne Demons return. Khorne Demons are up to the assault phase. Not much left to move around at this point, so we went ahead and moved the Bloodthirster up here. He launched a charge against the Vindicator, the Captain, not Chapter Master, and the Emperor's Champion. Bloodletters charged down here, lost 1 to Overwatch, but made it in against this Rhino. Everything else was locked up. We did fire the 1 remaining unengaged Skull Cannon down at the other end of the table into this thing and did it 4 wounds, leaving it at 3. So we got some close combats to work out, and then we will be back. Alright, Khorne Demons finished up their turn and still cannot get it together. We were destroyed right here with a counterattack. Soul Grinder was destroyed, did not explode, but was punched out by the aggressors. The bloodletters here were able to bring this rhino down to 1 point. The charge here, we failed to kill the Emperor's Champion. We hit the captain 3 times and killed him, scoring Slay the Warlord and a point. We hit 1 time, or hit 3 times with the attacks, rolled a 1 to hit, and then rolled 2 more 1s to wound, and he made his 4-up invul. Luckily, I returned the favor. He wounded me 3 times, and I made all 3 invulnerables. Over here, I traded a bloodletter for 2 more Marines. And down here, 2 more Marines were cut down in melee, but no damage done back to me in return. Still holding on with that 1 wound. So that is the end of Demons turn 4. Black Templar response coming up next. Alright, Black Templars turn 4. We went ahead and rolled the whole turn together.
In the shooting phase, we knocked down the 3 bloodletters with the aggressors. They were the only things the flamethrowers had range to, so they cleaned those up, like we all expected. Everything else down here that could shoot turned its guns down on the Bloodthirster, who's not really in a mood to care. Everything we had left, we knocked 3 wounds out of him. So he's still very, very angry and going to wreck a lot of stuff. We finally went ahead and overcharged 2 plasma pistols and shot the skull cannon and finally got the last wound out of it. We went in there with 10 Marines, and if you're keeping score, there are 4 remaining. He cut down the majority of the squad just whittling over and over and over. Over here, we killed the last bloodletter in combat, and the dogs killed one of the last 2 remaining Crusaders in that squad.
Yep, so not looking good for a game standpoint for Khorne. I believe it's out of reach now, but that is not going to stop my Bloodthirster from having a play day down here with all these black tanks. We're going to knock as many over as we possibly can, and we will be back after Khorne takes their next turn. Turn 5 for the Demons rolls to an end. We went ahead and rolled it all together, and the Demons are going to go ahead and tap out there. We were able to bring down the last tactical Marine over here in combat and lock up the Vindicator. We moved the Skull Cannon over, fired through the gap, 2 hits, 2 wounds, 2 5s on the aggressor saves. It never ends. We were able to get the Bloodthirster into the Emperor's Champion and the Inceptors after taking 2 wounds on Overwatch. We killed the Inceptors, hit the Emperor's Champion 3 times. He failed 1 invul, and even with the 2 dice take the heist for the axe, he still survived. No words. The Bloodthirster's going to retire for the evening and go back and find his soul grinders and give them a serious talking to. We'll have after-action reviews and army lists at the blog as always. That is a Black Templar's victory. Give us a like on Facebook and a subscription on YouTube if you like what you saw. As always, guys, thank you for spending time with us today at the Maelstrom.